An African proverb you may be familiar with is a child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Welcome back to my Pick Me's of the Patriarchy series, where we have been breaking down Netflix's The Polygamist, and we have moved on to the daughters of the Polygamist. And today we are talking about Sarah Gomora. This is Sarah Gomora, daughter to Jonas, and the second wife, Essie Gomora. Now, the thing about Sarah is she is born into basically this huge, damning family secret. No one but Jonas, Essie, Freedom, and Magesh are aware of who Sarah is in their family tree. And you see a lot of this and the effects of this family secret play out with Sarah's character. Now, because of this huge family secret, Sarah really displayed a lot of jealousy and covert competition with her sister cousin Mapume. And it became very evident in the scene where it is the twins' birthday, the twins that are by Matipa, by the way, and Jonas. It's their birthday. There's this huge celebration that had to be moved to Jonas and Joyce's house due to the original event hall being canceled. So at this party gathering, someone says, "Hey, let's get all of Jonas's kids together for a photo." Naturally, the twins are in the photo because it's their birthday and Jonas is their father, as well as Pume and Minzy get up to take a photo with their father. Now, in the crowd, Freedom and Sarah are sitting together, and you can just see this look on Sarah's face that says, "You know what? I'm going up there because I am just as much a Gomorrah as any of those children are." Freedom shoots her a look and she decides to just let it ride. Or so we think. Because shortly after that scene, you see Sarah telling Pume's boyfriend, "Come in the house and help me with something," only to perform a sexual act on Pume's boyfriend. This is the beginning of destructive things that Sarah would get herself into. And we also can't forget that Pume and Sarah are extremely close in age. I would speculate maybe a couple of months. And this is around the time that the girls are doing their college planning or plans after high school. And there's a particular ceremony that a lot of the children go through into that crossover into adulthood, right? So Sarah is basically getting the runaround about her party. She knows that this is a party where her father presents her, and she is putting pressure on Magesh, who is acting as her father at the time, and Essie, and they continue to give her the runaround. And I feel like a part of Sarah knew, and she's like, "I just want to see who's going to stop me from having this party because y'all know this secret. I know this secret. And at this point, I'm so ticked off, I'm about to just blow the lid off of everything." Now, being the viewer, it's easy to see that throughout the series, you see that Pume and Sarah really weren't treated that differently. The only difference is Pume is outwardly claimed and validated by Jonas because Joyce is the first wife. At the time, she was the only wife. She was the original family. So while Pume is outwardly claimed, Sarah is the secret. And that is why she was so frustrated and so angry throughout the entire series. What both girls don't know is they are being treated fairly similarly. Remember when Pume wanted to share in a letter form to her father of all of the things that she had gone through with the family, how it was hurting her, and just wanting to have some type of open dialogue with her father? In the office, she walks in. He turns up the volume as she starts reading the letter so that he can drown out her voice. When that doesn't work, he gets up, goes over to the couch to sit down. Pume's still reading her letter. When it finally clicks that Jonas is not interested in hearing about his shortcomings, how he's hurt her, how he's damaged their family, she gives up, leaves the letter on the table. Now, with Sarah, she had her own set of disappointments with her father. First, obviously, not being validated, not being outwardly claimed. But remember in the scene where She keeps going to her father's office to ask, when can we have lunch? When can I hang out with you? And she's pretty much given kind of the runaround until she finally gets on his books with his secretary. And when she does finally get a lunch date with her father, he just doesn't show up to the restaurant. Now, before that, when she went into his office, she brought a photo, sits it on his desk next to his other family photos, only for her to return back to his office to find that the photo is gone. That is deeply painful for a child to feel from their father. And it only reinforced her wanting to perform for Jonas's love, wanting to perform for his attention, and just find a spot in his life after being a secret for so long. Fathers certainly should provide financially for their children, but in addition to financial provision, there has to be connection with your child in order for them to have somewhat of a healthy upbringing. Now, while providing is a form of love from a parent to a child, there are some common patterns that can show up in daughters that have emotionally unavailable but providing fathers. And a few of those are equating love with provision in lieu of presence, hyper independence, chasing emotionally unavailable men, overperforming for love, struggling to identify their own emotional needs, mistaking calm for indifference, basically chaos over chemistry, developing a strong provider identity for herself, and then attracting or tolerating emotionally unavailable men. Now, in my opinion, as a parent, children don't always just remember what was provided, they also remember how they felt in the presence of the person that was doing the providing, as well as making attempts to connect with them. So keep that in mind in your own parenting journey. Up next, we are going to finish out this series discussing Lindani. Thank you so much for watching. Get in the comments and tell me what you think. Bye.